Layton City Council this evening. This is July 7th and our start time is 7 p.m. So once again, I appreciate everybody being here. As customary, we'd like to start our meeting off with a prayer and a pledge, and we take turns each month. So this month, I'm going to turn the time over to Councilmember Bettina Smith Edmondson. E. I'm going to call you E from now on.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to the council meeting tonight. First, we're going to do the pledge, and then I'll do a prayer. So I'll just ask everyone to stand. Just repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father God, we thank you for another day. We thank you for an evening where we can come and operate in a council meeting, God. We thank you for our city. We thank you for the workers, the staff, God. We thank you for those of us who are here to do the work of the city on behalf of our residents. God, we ask that you come into our meeting on tonight. We ask that you give us wisdom, you give us knowledge and direction that we'll be able to handle the cares and concerns of our citizens, our residents, and the business that we have set before us. Lord, we ask that you guide every decision that we make and that you help us to do all things in the name of your Son, Jesus. We give thanks and we do pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Council, we have two sets of minutes that we need to approve. First off, does anyone have any corrections or changes to either sets of minutes? If not, then I'll look for a motion to proceed.
Madam Mayor, I move that we accept the minutes from Layton City Council strategic planning meeting on March 30th, 2022, and the minutes of Layton City Council meeting of June 2nd, 2022.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Okay, Kim, did you get that? Flotsam. Okay, thank you. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much, Council. We'll now move on to our municipal announcements. So I know a lot of the councils are on different committees and that, so certainly let's take a turn here to make whatever announcements. Typically, we start out with our Parks and Rec Commission, which is Tyson Roberts.
First of all, I'd like to wish a lot of gratitude to the Parks and Rec Department, the city employees, the Parks and Rec Commission, Ramp Commission, the Youth Council that all helped out a lot on the 4th of July. We had a great celebration, a lot of people at the parade and throughout the whole day. So much gratitude to them, everyone that really put a lot into it to make it a great event for our city, to celebrate the birth of this great country. And along the same lines, Parks and Rec, we're still planning a great day of events on Saturday, July 23rd, where we will observe Pioneer Day. A lot going on all day long. Starting about 10 a.m., there'll be events happening here at the museum, food truck rally, 5:30 all day long, or all evening, 5:30 p.m. to 11:45. Much anticipated concert every year. Riders in the Sky will be at Ed Kinley, 7 p.m. And then at 10 p.m., the Electric Light Parade, ending at Constitution Circle. So, and then the party continues there as well. So, as well, Layton Fest begins on Friday nights, starting July 15th. There'll be food trucks, a lot going on in Constitution Circle. So come out. What time do we start that? Start at
5:30.
5:30. 5:30 to dusk. So, in addition, Mayor and Council, I had the opportunity to visit Safe Harbor, the new location on the Layton Parkway today, and I learned of some needs that they have, and I'd love to pass that along. They're in need of paper towels, AA batteries, and garbage bags at this time. So, if we can tell them thanks for the services they provide to this community, it'd be a great way to do it in the form of donations. So thank you.
Okay, very good.
The
Go ahead.
maybe I heard wrong. Is it the 23rd or the 25th?
23rd. So Saturday night.
Saturday, the 23rd.
Oh, it's Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, because I got information.
That's confirmed that's not correct. So it's the
Okay.
Saturday, the
That's
23rd. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
What they're discussing is the electric light parade. And please keep in mind that this is a family event. This parade was intended for it to be it's just a pedestrian parade, but we encourage families and people to kind of make their own homemade float. And whether it be it has to be something that you can push or pull and, to light it up and just kind of come walk up Wasatch Drive with us and enjoy a fun celebration for our state holiday. So anyway, pass the word around. It's a fun event. Okay.
So in conjunction with what Councilmember Roberts mentioned, on Fridays we have Friday Fest. Also, the Davis Arts Council has free Friday night films, and those will be happening on Fridays at 7 p.m. They've already started, and that is something you can participate in if you're here at Friday Fest. Also, they have free Sunday night concerts. So if you're unable to attend some of the larger concerts that you pay for, you can come on Sunday night over here in the theater and you can participate in their free Sunday night concerts. The last announcement I have is for our communities that care. They are promoting a Learning to Breathe program. This is a summer workshop for outgoing sixth graders, and it is to help them with managing stress management, managing their emotions, cultivating gratitude and compassion. These are mindfulness-based classes, and in the school year, they'll be taught in some of the schools. This summer workshop is at Bayview Elementary, and it will be 6 sessions, Tuesdays and Thursdays, beginning July 26th through August 11. Every participant who attends for 2 days each week will get a $5 gift card to Little Caesars. And so they're just promoting this, and this is something that we promote with our communities that care. So if you'd like to have your student register, they can go to dbhutah.org. Thank you. That's all I have.
That's an excellent program. And thank you, Bettina, for carrying that torch on that. I know we've got past council member Don Fitzpatrick in the audience who helped kick this off. So it's a good wholesome program for our youth. Quite honestly, we want to make sure that we get them going down the right path. In addition to all these other announcements, I have one. As many of you know, we have our beautiful Vietnam Wall over here in Constitution Circle, and the veterans that were very instrumental in helping us get that wall built are already working on what they foresee as our future, which I know our Parks and Rec has done a great design in our Freedom Plaza. But these gentlemen and women that are part of the Vietnam Veterans Association are going to have a special USO show this Saturday over here at the Kenley Theater. And it's not just for veterans, it's for everybody. It's their way of trying to raise funds. So to show your support to these veterans, I'd highly encourage you to attend this USO show. It's a Bob Hope tribute, and the gentleman that performs, he looks, acts, and just imitates Bob Hope very well. It's very entertaining. So again, come out and support these guys at that show. I do know that tickets are available on Eventbrite, but I'm sure they're probably going to be taking tickets or selling tickets day of, just so that they can make sure that they raise enough funding there. Okay, Council, does anybody else have any more announcements? Very good. We'll go ahead and move on our agenda items. I do not have anything for items 3, which is our presentation. So I'll move down to our citizens' comment. This is a portion of our meeting where if there's not an item that's on our agenda, you're welcome to come up and bring your topic to our enlighten us on your topic or what your concerns are. We ask that you can go to either side of the podium here. We ask that you state your name and address for the record. And if you're speaking on behalf of a group, certainly I'd be happy to give you more time, but typically we ask that you kind of limit your time if you could. So the time is now yours. Just go ahead and come up to the mic and state your name and address.
So I'm going to kick this off. So I'm Dawn Fitzpatrick, 1197 South Grace Way. And those that are from the Case Creek and cottages, would you raise your hand so that the council know who else here? Okay. And there will be 2 HOA presidents who follow my remarks. I've been a resident of this subdivision for now 3 years and 3 months. Most of these people here have been at least 2 years, and some have been greater than 4 years. This was supposed to be a quiet, idyllic retirement area, and it's turned into anything but that. 4 years after the fact, the subdivision is still not finished. It was turned over to the HOA in October of 2020 when it was 100% occupied and sold. So in addition that we have the highway going in behind us, which somebody will talk about, we all woke up yesterday morning to jackhammering with absolutely no warning. I came home to not being able to get into my driveway. I guess the developer is finally now being held to doing some work that is warranty work 4 years after the fact on some of this subdivision. And we had no notice that our driveways were going to be blocked, that our handicap ramps were not going to be accessible, and that our gutters were going to be torn up. In addition to that, they shut our water off in the hottest days of the year. And so we have no irrigation water to water our lawns. The 2 HOA presidents will address a couple other issues, but one of the things that they will talk about is a fence at the north end. This fence has been in place for 2 years. It provides privacy for the homes that are along 1000 South. The city has decided that this fence isn't in the right place, and discussion with Mr. Frost from Ovation is this fence is going to have to either come down or be moved. We know that, in fact, that the city knew where that fence was over 2 years ago. When it was initially put in, there were some stability issues and concerns over the pipe, the irrigation pipe that it sits on. We were given contact information from Mike Caliandros, who manages the ditch company. This information was given to us by Kim Weaver so that we could work on an easement to be able to stabilize this fence. In addition to that, we worked with Ovation to have 2 little wing of fences added for some additional privacy for some of our residents who were, their homes sit lower than the road, and the traffic lights were going into bedroom windows, causing some issues. This fence sits along 1000 South, and in the 3 years that I've been there, it has markedly changed. Part of the road's no longer even there. A lot of homes have been removed. Only 8 homes in the backs of several of our units will even be on this road. So we're just really concerned why the city's digging their feet in to have this done so long after residents have already found their peace and comfort in this subdivision. The south end of this subdivision is still not done. Our HOA has hired a new landscape company, and if Mr. Frost is required to come in and complete what he needs to in the landscaping, we'll have 2 different competing landscape companies working on our yards. Also, I have seen 2 different proposed trail connections from our property. We have 8/10 of an acre that sits on the north of Weaver Lane by the creek. I've seen 2 different proposals from the Parks Department showing where this bike trail easement that Mr. Frost was required to give for access to the bike trail that would be along the highway. I don't know if the city has been out there at the end of Weaver Lane, but the highway now sits over 8 feet above grade. And in conversation with the UDOT engineers, if we're still required, and Mr. Frost is still required to put a connection to that bike trail, there'll be a substantial incline to get up to the top of the highway, as the bike trail will run along the highway, only separated by a concrete barrier as it goes over the culvert, then back down as it goes to the underpass. So kind of thinking that maybe that needs to be kind of reassessed. It's really hard for HOAs to budget expenses not knowing the timing of any of this. Mr. Crane and Ovation's attorney Mill have been working on this for a really long time, while 116 homes hang in limbo. So my suggestion is what about some better communication? What about a timeline? Let us know what's going to happen and when it's going to get done finally. It seems that maybe some of the processes of the city in the building department need to be reevaluated, that this kind of thing never happens again to homes that, like I said, has drug on for over 4 years after we've been occupied. This is a huge disruption for these residents. At this point, I'll turn it over to Bob Isbell, the HOA president of the villas.
Public speaker is not. Bob Isbell, 1241 South Grace Way, and I am the president of the HOA Villas. And I went over this morning with the tape measure on the homes that we're talking about, that their backs face the 100s or 1,000 South. If they move that fence, if they move it, the lights are going to shine in these people's windows, and every single one of those are probably 70 or over. Some of them have PTSD. They're starting to freak out. If they have to move the fence, they have to build a taller fence. But I can't even see why you're moving it, because that road is not accessible anymore. It's going to end where the new highway comes in. And we do have homes on the north side of that, but that's all right there where they'll turn into that other new subdivision. So my concern is that fence. Dawn took most of my thunder. She did say 116 homes. There's 120 of us, 120 residents that live there. And I know the city has had a big issue with our developer, but that's putting us right in the middle of it, where I've been to see Ken Weaver probably a half a dozen times, and I tell him who I am, that I'm the HOA president, and he will not tell me anything that's going on, either on the south side or the north side. He just says, I can't, we're in litigation with it. But he could at least share what they're thinking about doing, because we don't know. And these residents are starting to freak out, to put it bluntly. So maybe you guys can, look at it and address it. And if the fence has to be moved, let's build a taller fence. So these people, they're older people. They're, like your mothers and dads. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much.
My name is Rick LaFontaine. I'm the HOA president for the cottages, which are the single homes in the Case Creek Ovation development. I also own a villa, 1258 South Grace Way, where my special needs daughter and her special needs husband live. And I'm here to ask for some help from the city with UDOT regarding the West Corridor. The city, when they originally approved the plan, required Brad Frost to put in a 10-foot Trex fence, which is a heavy-duty fence, because of the West Corridor that was going to be on the other side of that fence to protect from noise and, whatever. But then last year, let me go back. The corridor was supposed to be at ground level at that point, at the base of the fence, and so you wouldn't see the traffic. Something happened, and I don't know what it was, but UDOT raised the road grade of that, on the south end of that corridor, to where it is now higher than the existing fence. So traffic going over that tunnel will be looking right down into those villas, into their family rooms and their master bedroom. Now, last year, UDOT surveyed the west side residents of those villas, asking if they wanted a sound wall. And because of that heavy-duty Trex fence there and the fact that that road was going to be at grade level, we didn't get 60% or whatever it was required to get the sound wall. We're the only development that is not getting a sound wall around through Clearfield in that area. But now that UDOT has changed its plans and raised the road at least 15 feet, all that traffic is going to be visible from those homes, and that traffic is going to be looking right down in there. UDOT has been contacted, and they said readdressing that sound wall is a no-go. Sorry, but this is going to have a big impact on those South Side residents. And because the corridor changed and residents were not advised, UDOT should readdress the impact of not having a sound wall, because when we voted, we did not know that road was going to be raised to that level. Residents are angry, and we think that we should have a say in the impact on us caused by UDOT raising that road without our knowledge. And we're petitioning the city to help aid us in getting UDOT to reassess that sound wall. I don't know what you can do, but I mean, they've told us fly a kite. And so we need some help. We're residents of Layton City, and we're here to ask you for help. So can someone be appointed to help us, Bob and I, HOA managers, to get after UDOT and have them send out another survey for a sound wall?
Okay, all of the comments that are being made here, we are taking notes on those, and we'll have our city manager be in charge of deciding who will be the point of contact, because obviously each one of these might involve a different staff member. But I know that between him and our attorney, we'll take a look at all these concerns and make sure we address them.
Okay, my phone number is 801-540-4087. Appreciate your help. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else wish to address? Just so you know, if you want to give us your phone number, anyone else, you're welcome to do so in private. You don't have to say that over the mic, just so you know. So you're welcome to go ahead and give it to probably Mr. Crane over here on the end. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
My name is Bill Willahan. I live at 1130 North, 2125 East in Layton. I'm the president of an HOA called the Cottages at Valley View, Phase 1. We run from 2125 East, and we're between Gordon Avenue and Oak Ridge, so you know where we're at. Have about 18 homes in there, but many other neighbors around that utilize our street and so forth. Let me congratulate you on a great road of Gordon Avenue. I mean, that is beautiful. When you come down that and you see the view out to the lake, and as well as going west, it is just a beautiful road. We do have a problem, though, and that is our intersection at 2125 East and Gordon Avenue. We have had one accident there since it came into play, and that was a month after the... Oh, thank you. So here's Gordon Avenue, right? This is really good. This is what happens when you have good HOA members, right? And here's our 2125 East road here. There is a large fence here that's been put up by the city to keep the noise down. And you're coming up a hill right here to go up through Gordon and access onto 89. Okay? What's happening right now is when you come down here and try to make a left-hand turn to go up to 89, there are cars coming down here, and this is quite a steep grade coming down here, building up speed, and they get it right about here is the only time that they can see around this fence. If you're here, you can't see anybody coming until they're right here. We've observed some cars coming down here at like 60 to 65 miles an hour. I would say that this is probably maybe a 75-foot span between here and when you can see the car coming. So like I say, we've had one accident here that fortunately there were no injuries, but I believe the car was totaled. I myself have almost been hit here 4 times in probably the last 4 months. The last one was last Tuesday night when I had come here, stopped, pulled out as far as I dared to see further up here. Nobody was coming. I entered the road, and all of a sudden, a Honda CVS comes down here, and I cannot see them. And they are probably doing 45 miles an hour. And I missed them just so close. And I could only miss them by gunning it and getting onto this road as fast as I could. Our problem is not only the speed coming down through here, but it is this visibility that we're really afraid that somebody's going to be injured very seriously or killed at this intersection. And we feel like there needs to be a solution to this. There are several ways we could do it. We could put stop signs here and here and here with warning lights here coming down the road. The other option is to do like a roundabout. But we feel like that's probably too expensive and there may not be enough space. So what we're requesting from the city council is to take this on as advisement before somebody gets killed or severely hurt. And we need that to happen very fast because it's a critical issue. Mm-hmm. Now, I have a group here. If anybody else would like to speak, that would be great. Right. So when you're coming up here this way, this person cannot see until this car gets to the top of the hill. And so that's probably the second most dangerous, right? Is that everything?
Yeah, pedestrian.
Yeah.
Pedestrian.
Oh, pedestrian. There are no pedestrian walks across here. So the sidewalk is over here. And so you're taking your life in your hands if you want to cross here, because you can't see and so forth.
And when you're riding in the park, there's two of you. One has to look down the hill, and one looks this way. And both of you are going, is anyone coming? Is anyone coming? And it's just hard to tell. It's just hard to tell who's coming.
And usually you don't know if anybody's coming, right? Anything else? Kelly?
Well, I'd like to speak to him when you're done, Bill.
Okay. All right. Any questions from you folks?
No, you did a great job on the drawing and helping depict the issue there.
Mark, did you do that
I got to say,
drawing?
that's a first.
Did you go to Famous Artist School for this? One thing I didn't say about this also is that back in this area, okay, there are probably 150 homes that access this to make this turn. Okay, so there's a lot more people than just us using this. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, that is a beautiful road. You're absolutely right. And I know that we've got several people here, staff members in this room that will have taken notes. And so we'll see what we can do there.
Kelly, did you want to?
While that gentleman comes up.
Yeah, you do need to come up to the mic, sir. Go ahead.
My name is Jim Plasto. I live at 1027 South Grace Way. I'm one of the 8 homes that face that fence on 1000 South in the Ovation Homes there. So city manager, mayor, members of the city council, recorder, and attorney. My concerns are in the following area: safety. That road used to be a square angle and so on and so forth. And then the corridor, Davis corridor is coming through there, and they're going to round that a little bit more. So speed will continue to be an issue in that road even more, because they used to speed down to the corner, put on the brakes, and then turn the corner and speed up. So now they're smoothing it out, so there's going to be even more speed. So we have a safety issue, a serious safety issue. We have a privacy issue. That road, as has been mentioned already, the height, if that wall is moved, the height of Somebody standing over that on top of the irrigation area can see right into, potentially easier access into the areas. We have an issue with consistency of look in the neighborhoods. The homes across the street, further up the street, east of the same street and the same builder have fences and so on and so forth there also. Obviously, the pipe and the ditch is an issue. You can't put the fence right into the piping, of course. So that's an issue. Like I said, my home directly faces that fence and will be directly impacted. I have a neighbor two doors down from me who suffers from PTSD. And until they put in that fence and the angled fence, she had a severe problem with that. And if that fence is adjusted in any way, she needs to be counseled on how that might impact her and have some input into that. My suggestions and requests are, please have us involved initially through our HOA board members who will involve us. We're connected Facebook-wise and so on. And we need communication. And just one other comment about the Davis corridor. The south end of that Davis corridor is not of our homes are not the only ones affected. Everybody on that west side is affected because that whole Davis corridor is getting elevated 15 to 20 feet, I would say 15 to 20 feet from the previous grade and so on. And so all the road is being seen, just the dirt part right now, and you haven't got the asphalt, concrete, or whatever else is going to go on there, can be seen over the fences as you're walking through the neighborhoods and so on. And not all residents got to vote on that wall, only residents that were within a certain distance. And as the construction equipment is going through, I'm on the opposite side facing the freeway with some houses in front of me, and we hear all that traffic ricochet off and up and down those homes all the time, ricocheting up and down, echoing throughout the neighborhood. So we need something apparently done, and not just people within a certain distance should have a say on that, because all of us are affected. And there may be even further east that may be impacted also by the additional sound. So those are my concerns and additional comments. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, next.
Thank you. My name is Kelly Craythorne. I live at 1107 North, 2125 East. Moved in there about 3.5 years ago after spending 70 years in Hooper. But anyway, I was a truck driver for a little over 47 years. And when I retired, I had 4.3 million miles, no tickets, no wrecks. I've seen a lot of road. And this is one of the most dangerous things I've ever seen. And I have called, as most of these people here have called numerous times to the city about how dangerous this is. When they finished Gordon, suddenly we had a terrible problem on our hands, a very dangerous one. We're not talking about comfort or anything like that. We're talking about safety. If I can, I'll try to speak up. You come up to here and you're looking to the west. There's nothing there because that hill up, it's like the top of the lagoon roller coaster. Suddenly it's there. This one, you're looking here, you can't see because of this blind corner, this little S-curve and the wall and everything. I mean, you always hear about it, you know, the old magician's trick, the rabbit out of the hat. See, there's nothing there. Well, then I'll see, well, there's nothing there, but all of a sudden there's a car bearing down on you. So you look left, you look right, and you pull out here, this car can come up, this can come up on your tail just out of nowhere. When I left, like I say, I lived in Hooper for 70 years, and we lived on 5100 West. And there was an intersection at 5500 South, 5100 West, and it was labeled the most dangerous intersection in Weber County. And sure enough, as soon as we moved, they decided, you know what, we better do something about it. UDOT will do, you have my sympathy. UDOT does what UDOT does. But anyway, several people were killed there, including a bishop of mine. And nothing was ever done. But as soon as we left, they thought, okay, now we can fix it. But it was a canal that you couldn't see over. So they changed the grade and everything. Now it's beautiful. But I'll tell you what, I lived there, like I say, raised our kids along that street. Never worried about it as much as this thing. And I have called repeatedly, and I keep getting this pie in the sky. Well, we've talked about a light there someday. Well, meanwhile, something needs to be done. Now, I also want to tell you that just down the road from us to the west is where Orchard meets Gordon. Three-way stop. Emerald, sorry, not Orchard, Emerald.
Okay.
I haven't been here that long. Emerald meets Gordon. Three-way stop. And if you're on Emerald, you come up to that stop, you look right, you can see as far as you want. You look left, you can see as far as you want. And yet they have a three-way stop. Just go east a mile where we are. No three-way stop, and I'll tell you, there's no comparison about the safety between Emerald and 2125 East. But it's falling on deaf ears. Now, several of our residents, when they purchased their homes, they were there ahead of me, but they were told, this is going to be a roundabout. Don't worry about Gordon being completed. This is going to be a roundabout. Well, apparently we were given the roundabout. And so nothing's done. It keeps falling on deaf ears. And you get promises of someday there may be a light and it's going to be beautiful. But that doesn't help us now.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do a roundabout. Well, that doesn't help us now. If nothing else, you can move that three-way stop up to us and let Emerald become a normal intersection, just like the 8 roads that are west of it. They don't have three-way stops, and they seem to survive. It's because of a visibility issue. I invite any of you to go up there, get on 2125 East, heading south, come up to that stop sign, look left, look right. And the other thing, I don't think it's a completely 35, that's another thing. Well, we're going to really enforce the 35 mile an hour speed limit. Well, that will be great too, but that doesn't change the issue. Even at 35, remember the rabbit in the hat. And you don't have time, and you're worried about somebody coming over the hill and hitting you in the rear end. By the way, there were injuries in that wreck. Her name, a young lady, Catherine Quigley, and she lost a hearing in her left ear for quite some time. Her car was totaled. But anyway, I really wish someone here would take this to heart and say, you know, I have a chance here in my life to perhaps save somebody's life or somebody's health and do something about it.
Okay.
I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. If you guys have got new information to share, that's great. If it's already been stated, then I think we have pretty good notes here. But sir, go ahead on yours.
Paul Spackman, 1075 East Hyde Park. I'm in Cottages at Church subdivision. This is a different cottages than the 5 other ones that we've talked about. So apparently there's a lot of cottages, but we're at the roundabout of Antelope and Church, and then west of there, small subdivision, 14 different homes. The builder was required to plant trees in the park strip along our fence line that's next to Church and Antelope, so our backyard. the distance between the fence, our fence, and the sidewalk is just 4 to 5 feet. The trees were planted without anybody's knowledge. They just went in there and planted them, didn't ask us about anything. And they're 2 feet away or less from the fence and the sidewalk. Now, normally with a very small tree, this might be acceptable, or a shrub or something like that. But this is, there's 2 types of trees that were planted, a autumn blaze maple and a Princeton gold maple. An autumn blaze maple is a 50-foot by 40-foot tree. And the Princeton gold's a little smaller, just a minimal 35 by 30. Still a very big tree for this little area. This is not on the approved tree list. I spoke with the city planner, and the city planner, after they put it in, the city planner said, yeah, I'm just not sure of this. I'll have to look at my notes. Went back and talked to him. He said, yeah, I was told by Mr. Hyde that these were a smaller tree. I said, they aren't a smaller tree. He said, well, I think they're acceptable anyway. I said, I don't know how these are acceptable when it's not even close to what's on the approved tree list. If any of you have looked at the tree list, I don't think there's anything in there larger than 30 feet. And anything that's 30 feet says not under power lines. We have 2, 3, 4 of these trees under power lines. So I understand that maybe it was approved. I haven't seen an approval in writing. I would like that in writing. The city planner also said, well, I'll talk to the nursery. He said he did that. And he said that the nursery said it was a good tree. I've also spoke with the nursery and gave him pictures and showed him. And the guy just shook his head. He said, I sold him those trees and I wouldn't put those there. So with as much information that I've gotten that's misinformation, I went to the USU Extension Service, spoke with the assistant professor over horticulture, and told her my situation. She provided me a letter, and the letter said, absolutely not. We don't recommend either of these trees in Utah at all, not even in Utah, let alone a small little area like this. So the trees are certainly going to be a problem. There's many reasons. Iron chlorosis, just the size of the trees. They grow about 2.5 feet per year, maybe 5 to 10 years, and then they start dying because iron chlorosis, meaning they can't get the nutrients they need, and they'll eventually die, leaving our residents with 25, 30, 40-foot trees that are dying in these major arteries, roadways. So that's a problem with us. And I have spoke with the city manager, gave him the packet of everything. He was kind enough to talk to me and gave me some information and said, I will look into it a little bit and I will call you back. To be fair to him, I'm waiting for his call and I know he'll call me back. But I do want to get it on the record. And I do want to voice my concern. And, you know, there's a number of these trees parked at the roundabout or planted in the roundabout, and then alongside, obviously, too. I think there's a problem with safety. I think there's a problem with the money that everybody's going to have to come up with to take these trees out. Again, I haven't seen anything in writing that says, yes, we approve this tree. I'd like to see that in writing so we have, as residents, have some recourse in the future. Or I know Mr. Jensen mentioned he would look at possibly some bond money to maybe encourage the builder to remove and replace them, but that's where I'm at. Anyway, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else?
I know you guys hate repeat, but I just saw Mr. Coburn sitting over there. One of the things I forgot is on this road construction on 1000 South, where they're taking the road out and making this curve that was mentioned, we received notification via the city's Facebook page that the road would be reopened right after the 4th of July, by July 6th. It's July 7th, and there appears to be very little progress on this road. So we're detouring a pretty major way around to get to church and a few other places. Does Mr. Coburn by chance know when this road may reopen?
Sure, if one of you guys got the answer, you're welcome to come up.
So I spoke with the contractor today. They're going to open the road no later than tomorrow, they told me. Unfortunately, it will only be open for probably less than a week, because then the rest of the construction crews are coming back in to relocate telecom, and then all the rest of the utilities and build the road. It will be closed until approximately the 18th or 20th of August, when it will be reopened. So we're trying to get it open back fully before school begins for the junior high kids down there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. I think that pretty much concludes our public comment portion at this time, in case this last call, in other words. Very good. Okay, I want to go ahead and move on then with our meeting tonight, which will move on to our consent items. We have several items on the consent, and there's one item that I do want to remove from the group and act upon it separately. So, council, if you could, I'd like to take item number G and remove that from the list of consent items, and then we can allow any type of property owner comment at that time. So with that, we'll go ahead and proceed. We're going to start with item number A, which is a quitclaim deed that is going to be presented by Mr. Dave Price.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. This evening, I have the pleasure of introducing Resolution 2224. This resolution authorizes the mayor to accept 0.07 acres of property along the Case Creek Trail. The property is currently owned by Christian Life Center and is located near Hobbs Reservoir at approximately 2360 Canyon View Drive. The Christian Life Center desires to quitclaim deed this property to the city because it is isolated from their main campus and adjacent to property owned by Layton City. Layton City owns a property adjacent to this parcel of land and uses the property for Case Creek Trail, which is located from Hidden Hollow Drive to the eastern edge of Hobbs Reservoir. Layton City staff has determined it is in the best interest of the city to accept this property from Christian Life Center to support our efforts to manage Case Creek Trail and to provide a larger buffer along the trail. Staff has worked with the Christian Life Center and Cottonwood Title to ensure the property is free of any encumbrances. Staff recommends the council adopt Resolution 2224, adopting and approving a quitclaim deed for 0.07 acres of property located along Case Creek Trail near Hobbs Reservoir, owned by Christian Life Center, to be deeded to Layton City.
Okay, council, do you have
questions?
Yeah, do you have any questions regarding this? Very good.
Thank you.
It's kind of nice to see the lines squared up there, so my compliments to Christian Life Center on that one. Okay, next we'll go on to item number B, which Chief Kevin Ward will present this. It's concerning a MOU with Layton City and Gold Cross Service.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. You have before you Resolution 22-42. This is to approve a memorandum of understanding between Layton City and Gold Cross Services for the provision of non-medical, non-emergency secured transport requests in Layton City. Layton City Fire Department is the exclusive licensed geographic provider of all ambulance transportation services within the city. This also includes interfacility transportation services as well out of our two hospitals. Some of our transportation requests from the hospitals, though, are for to transport people that are either behavioral or psychiatric type of incident that following the state code U26-8A102-16, those people can be transported not in an ambulance, but a non-emergency secured transport vehicle, non-medical. So these patients do not qualify for medical reasons to be transported by an ambulance, but simply to be transported by state law in a non-emergency secured transport unit. A couple reasons we look forward to doing this is, number one is being a patient advocate, entering into the MOU or memorandum of understanding with Gold Cross. They would be offering a reduced transportation rate for these patients that are not ambulance-type patients, but those that could be transported by these types of units that don't require the ambulance services. So number one, in some of these transportation of these patients go to quite long distances, such as down to Provo Canyon, up to Logan, and sometimes down to Payson. So this, for the patients, this could be a substantial amount of savings. The second thing it does is, because these patients are not requiring an ambulance, and currently we're utilizing our ambulances to transport, that ties up our ambulances for 911 emergency service within our city, as well as tying us up for critical care transportation services from these cities interfacility. We've talked with both the hospitals. They're very supportive of this as well. They want to see our ambulances used for transporting patients that do need to be required to be transported by ambulance. So they are on board with this. We would operate still, our dispatch center will still operate as the triage point to determine whether or not this person needs to be transported by ambulance out of medical necessity, or whether or not they could be transported in a non-emergency secured transport unit. And then we would turn that call over to Gold Cross. So staff recommends council adopt resolution 22-42, approving a memorandum of understanding between Layton City and Gold Cross Services for the provision of non-medical, non-emergency secured transport requests in Layton City. Authorize the mayor to sign the necessary documents. Any questions on that at all?
Council, any questions? Thank you. We had very good discussion prior to, so thank you very much for that.
Great.
Appreciate the information.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. Thank you, Council.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on with our items. We have C, D, and E, all of which will be presented by Mr. Terry Colburn. So, Terry, we'll go ahead and have you present each one individually.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a little brief comment about, we've talked to council before about our LTAP program related to our road maintenance, and these three resolutions are regular maintenance that we do relative to looking at that program and seeing where the resources need to go. The first one is Resolution 2239. It's a bid award to Morgan Industries Incorporated, DBA Morgan Pavement Maintenance Incorporated for the Slurry Seal project. Various locations throughout the city, as you can see on the map. Resolution 2239 authorizes the execution of an agreement between Layton City and Morgan Industries Incorporated, DBA Morgan Pavement Maintenance Incorporated for the Slurry Seal project. The project includes the placement of Type 2 slurry and Type 3 slurry seal, asphalt patching, restoring street striping, and all associated work items. 3 bids were received, with Morgan Industries Incorporated, DBA Morgan Pavement Maintenance Incorporated submitting the lowest responsible bid in the amount of $441,451.60. The engineer's estimate was $469,440.34, and staff would recommend council adopt resolution 2239.
Okay, any questions, council? Good, very good. You can go ahead and move on to D.
The next one is Resolution 2240, a bid award to Morgan Industries Incorporated, DBA Morgan Pavement Maintenance Incorporated for crack seal project, various locations throughout the city. Resolution 2240 authorizes the execution of an agreement between Layton City and Morgan Industries Incorporated, DBA Morgan Pavement Maintenance Incorporated for the crack seal project. The project includes the installation of crack seal treatment on city streets and associated items. 4 bids were received, with Morgan Industries Incorporated, DBA Morgan Pavement Maintenance Incorporated submitting the lowest responsible bid in the amount of $223,804. The engineer's estimate was $227,400. Staff would recommend the council adopt Resolution 2240.
Any questions?
I just had one question on the bid for that project for the traffic control. It just has in parentheses if needed and had a quantity of 7 days. And I was just wondering if it was if needed, was the 7 the expected time that it would need to be, or is that just in case?
Just in case
Okay.
it's needed. These will all be done relative to the product at certain times of the year. So, but yes, that's the answer to that question.
Thank you.
Okay. You can go ahead and proceed with your last item, which is E.
Thank you, Mayor. Bring before the council Resolution 2241. Bid award to Morgan Industries Incorporated, DBA Morgan Pavement Maintenance Incorporated, 2022-2023 high-density roadway surface preservation treatment, various locations throughout the city. Resolution 2241 authorizes the execution of an agreement between Layton City and Morgan Industries Incorporated, DBA Morgan Pavement Maintenance Incorporated, for the 2022-2023 high-density roadway surface preservation treatment. The project includes the installation of 78,000 square yards of high-density roadway surface preservation treatment and associated items. One bid was received with Morgan Industries Incorporated, DBA Morgan Pavement Maintenance Incorporated, submitting the lowest responsible bid in the amount of $170,820. The engineer's estimate was $156,000. Staff recommends the council adopt Resolution 2241. And just for council's information, this type of product just has bigger aggregate in it, bigger rock in the mixture for wider, deeper type maintenance. You don't kind of understand the difference between that and the previous one.
Terry, I know that we've, in the past, probably 3 or 4 months when we've done these bid awards, we've seen inflationary costs well above 10%, more like 20, 30%. I noticed in a lot of these engineering estimates that we've kind of caught up to that. So has it slowed since?
It has. And matter of fact, Steve told me today we opened the big road maintenance projects, the overlays that I'll bring to you next time. And like per ton for the asphalt, we got it like at $79 per ton, and it was up in the 80s and 90s. It was a $1.5 million bid. And between the two companies that were actively involved in it, it was a $25,000 difference was all.
That's great.
And so some estimator went out in the parking lot and threw up the one that didn't get it, because on that big of a job and that close of money, that would make him a little bit ill. But yes, it has.
Good.
Steve, wouldn't you say that we were pleased with the prices?
Good.
Very good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And thanks for the maps. It really kind of helps
Thank
people
you.
understand what area you're discussing.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to our last item of this group of consent items, which is a reappointment of our Planning Commission. And I want to make special note here that we do have the chairman here tonight with us of our Planning Commission, Mr. Brett. So thank you for being here, as well as some of the commission members. So without that, I'm going to turn the time over to Lon to handle this last item.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we have Resolution 2243 before you to appoint and reappoint some Planning Commission members. The new term for George Wilson, Trevor Steenblick, and Julie Pierce will expire on July 1st of 2025 and will be Mr. Wilson's last 3-year term. The term for both Tricia Pilney and Liz Sears will expire on July 1st, 2024, and will be Ms. Pilney's last term. And Liz Sears will fill the vacancy created by the departure of Brian Allen. She will fill the remainder of his term. We certainly appreciate the service that he's provided and the help for us as staff throughout the time that he's been here. Resolution 2243 will move Ms. Pierce from an alternate member to a regular Planning Commission member, and Liz Sears will fill the alternate member position. Earlier this year, we received several applications to fill the Planning Commission vacancy. There was a process involved that included the City Council, Planning Commission Chair, and City staff, and the Mayor, who, after final interviews, has recommended that Liz Sears serve as the alternate on the Planning Commission. So with that, staff and the Mayor recommend the City Council adopt Resolution 2243, confirming the reappointment of George Wilson, Trevor Steenblick, and Julie Pierce as members of the Planning Commission to a term to expire on July 1st, 2025, to reappoint Tricia Pilney to serve as a member of the Planning Commission to a term to expire on July 1st, 2024, and appoint Liz Sears as an alternate member, completing a term to expire on July 1st, 2024.
Council, do you have any questions on that?
I don't have a question, just a point of clarity in the background. You didn't read all of it, which is fine. But I did check and I didn't receive those applications from the beginning. And I know it mentioned that all council members had access.
No, there was 2 that was appointed to be part of the selection committee. So you had 2 council members representing the body, myself, and then the planning chair and some staff members.
Okay.
And that's our typical process of doing that.
It said something about us getting applications, and then it talked about the group that actually did the interviews. And so that's what I was confused about.
Okay.
Because if that was the case, I did see one, but I didn't see the others. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing that there's none, thank you, Lon. That was very good. And thank you for being here, you guys. Thanks for your service for our city. We definitely rely on you vetting a lot of these projects that come before the city. And I know that you guys follow the rules and regulations and really make sure that whatever projects get brought before the council, that we feel confident in you doing your homework. So thank you again. Okay, council, with that, let's go ahead and take action then on the items that have been presented so far. And then we'll proceed with item G. So would someone like to make a motion regarding the above resolutions? And when you do, please state the resolution. I know it's a long one here. So,
I'm on a roll today. I move that we adopt the consent items as listed. Item A, Resolution 22-24 for the quitclaim deed. Item B, Resolution 22-42 for the MOU for the non-emergency secured transport. Item C, Resolution 22-39, a bid award for Morgan Industries Slurry Seal. Item D, Resolution 22-40, another bid award for Morgan Industries Crack Seal. Item E, Resolution 22-41, another bid award for Morgan Industries. And finally, item F, Resolution 22-43, reappointment and appointment to the Planning Commission of George Wilson, Trevor Steenblick, Julie Pierce, and Tricia Pilney.
And Liz Sear.
And Liz Sears.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second that we approve the above consent items. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. We'll now go on to item G, which is an authorization of acquisition of real property. And this item is going to be presented by Mr. Gary Crane.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Resolution 22-44 is a requirement of state law. It fulfills a requirement of state law. that we bring to you the acquisitions of property for 2700 West. The city staff has been working and has had multiple meetings with some of the property owners and has met with others. I think we've touched base with just about every single property owner and at least talked to them somewhat about the properties and about the coming through of 2700 West, which is one of the biggest projects I think LAYTON has ever tackled in my time here. And I think it has the most significance because of its location and its proximity to the West Davis corridor. And so we feel this project's extremely important. Moving it forward is important as well. But we wanted to make sure that we had touched base with everybody before we took this step of presenting to you and passing a resolution that would allow for the negotiation and or condemnation of property along the route of this 2700 West north of Gentile all the way up to Hillfield Road. There are several requirements that are required by state law before you actually do this type of thing. And one is that, first of all, it'd be for a public purpose, which it is, that you be ready to move forward financially with it. And fortunately, the city has received grants to be able to accomplish paying for part of the road. And they'll use impact fees and we'll use city funds for the rest of it. The other thing is we need to be prepared to move forward quickly. And I know the grants have a time period involved with them as well. So we want to make sure that we continue the process moving forward. We continue to work with the property owners, come up with solutions and agreements that are acceptable to the property owners. And that's what we desire to do. The city is not prone to condemn property, but would rather negotiate for the acquisition of these parcels. And so we're presenting to you this resolution. That's the first step in the process. The resolution grants us authority, which you are the body that is supposed to do that. And then the second piece of that is to allow the property owners to address the council on any issues that they may have regarding the condemnation or acquisition by negotiation. Notice was sent out to the property owners over 10 days ago, both by mail and also by email. We emailed a copy of it to them, of the notice to them. And so those two purposes are before you this evening. I don't notice any of the property owners here. They may be here, but I just don't see them. But the other thing is you need to act on Resolution 2244. Are there any questions that you might have on? Steve has put up on the screen those portions of property and the owners of those portions of property. And so we'd be glad to answer any questions. I think we have talked a little bit about these things in previous meetings. And so we present this to you tonight for passage.
Okay. Council, you have any questions? No questions here. As Mr. Crane stated, this is an opportunity for the property owners to address this governing body. And so should any of the property owners that are along this 2700 corridor or proposed road here and would like to express their views or feelings, we'd certainly be happy to hear from you. Okay. Seeing that there's no one here, Council, we'll go ahead and proceed then with action regarding Resolution 22-44. I need somebody to make a motion.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we accept item G, Resolution 2244, authorizing the acquisitions of real properties for the 2700 West Gentile to West Hillfield Road.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved in second that we adopt Resolution 2244. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, very good. That pretty much concludes our consent item. We do have one public hearing item on our agenda tonight, which is a rezone request. So I will now turn the time over to Mr. Longcrow to present the information regarding this rezone.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We have before you this evening an application to rezone property at 1869 East Oak Ridge Drive from R110 to R18. As you can see on the screen, this property includes, currently has one house on it. The applicant is hoping to develop this property. And right now the proposal leaves the house as part of the subdivision. The property is located in what is called the neighborhood residential area in the general plan. The general plan supports this to be no lower than R18, no higher density than R18, or 8,000 square foot lots, which is what is being proposed. So with that, we believe this is fairly a simple request because it meets the general plan. It's a smaller proposal for a subdivision. And the Planning Commission on June 28th recommended approval unanimously for this proposal and forwarded a positive recommendation to the City Council to approve the rezone request and Ordinance 22-10.
Okay, is that it? Okay, Council, do you have any questions on this before we open up our public hearing? Okay, if you have no questions, then I look for a motion to open up our public hearing regarding Ordinance 22-10.
Mayor, I motion that we open up the public hearing.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, this is a public hearing, so once again, if anyone would like to state their questions or concerns or opinion regarding this rezone request, you're welcome to come up to the mic, state your name and address for the record, and we'll be happy to hear from you. Okay, very good. Seeing that there's no public comment regarding this rezone request, Council, I'll look for a motion to close our public hearing and to take action regarding the rezone request.
Madam Mayor, motion we close the public hearing and adopt Ordinance 22-10 rezone request.
Okay, it's been moved in second that we adopt Ordinance 22-10. Even though this is not a money item, I will take a roll call vote on this, correct? So I'll start out with Councilmember Thomas.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith Edmondson.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Bloxham.
Yes.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
Okay, very good. There you have it. It's unanimous. Okay, that pretty much concludes our council meeting for this evening, unless anyone has any unfinished business that they'd like to present. If not, Council, before we close, I would like to acknowledge we do have a Boy Scout troop, which quite honestly, we don't see them too much anymore. So if one of you guys, gentlemen, or maybe one of the young men would like to come up and let us know what troop you're from, we'd be honored to
Hello, we are from Troop 007, and we usually meet at the VFW. We meet at the back of a bar. Yes, not very Boy Scout-like. Thank you for having us.
Well,
we're working on our citizenship in the community merit badge.
Good job. The important thing is that you guys are meeting, and thank goodness you've got a space to meet.
Yes.
So that's the important thing.
How could you get a badge that says 007? That's got to be cool.
Yeah, we picked the Scout Troop number.
Yeah.
Cool. Good job. And thank you, Scout leaders, for bringing these young men here to witness this process and staying for the whole meeting. That's very good on you. So thank you, gentlemen. Okay, Council, I'll look for a motion to close this council meeting for tonight.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. All in favor? There was no second, but I'm sure there was. Thank you very much.